You think you understand how women decide. You don't. Their decisions aren't about emotions or logic. They're about power, control, and dominance. Get ready to see the truth. You've been conditioned to view women's decisions through a distorted lens, one shaped by society's sugar-coated narratives of love, emotion, and selflessness. But none of that matters. The truth is far colder, and it's time you saw it. Most men spend their lives chasing validation, believing women's decisions are rooted in affection or loyalty. They waste their time on emotional manipulation, thinking they can somehow earn favor through charm or persistence. But here's the reality you've been too blind to notice. Women don't operate like you do. Everything you think you understand is a facade, an illusion designed to keep you weak, dependent, and distracted. Their decisions are strategic, not emotional. Survival, power, and self-preservation govern their actions. You're being played. The sooner you realize that women choose based on control, security, and dominance, the sooner you'll start to see the game they're playing. It's not about connection or intimacy. It's about selection. Women select based on what serves their interests, nothing more. In this chapter, we'll break down the rose-colored glasses you've been wearing, strip away the false beliefs, and reveal the harsh truth about their decision-making process. You'll see how they frame every interaction in terms of gain and loss. Never emotion, never love. Survival first, always. Once you understand this, you'll start to see their actions in an entirely new light. Their decisions are about calculating power, and yours will be too if you choose to survive. Now that you've seen the illusion, it's time to understand the cold, raw mechanisms that drive women's decision-making. Emotions. Irrelevant. Logic. Secondary. Their choices are rooted in primal instincts that date back centuries, ingrained into their very DNA. Women's decisions are not made based on love, loyalty, or compassion. They are made based on self-preservation and dominance. From the moment they enter a room, they assess the situation with the same detachment a predator uses to size up its prey. The question they ask is simple: what do I stand to gain or lose? Think of it as a game of chess. Every move, every word, every glance is calculated. They weigh advantages and threats, not with empathy, but with the icy precision of someone who knows that only the strong survive. They recognize power dynamics in every interaction and make decisions based on which side will give them the most leverage. In survival terms, they're always assessing who is the biggest threat and who is the easiest target. Your usefulness is determined by how much you can serve their needs, how much power you can offer, and how much control they can gain over you. And if you fail to meet their standards, you're discarded. But this isn't just theory, it's biology. Women's brains are wired to seek safety and security. This is not a flaw, this is a core survival mechanism. Throughout history, women have been expected to make decisions based on resource allocation and strategic partnerships, often as a means of securing stability for themselves and their offspring. They have always been selective in how they choose their alliances, their mates, and their battles. And that hasn't changed. So, when a woman decides, you need to understand that the core drive isn't about you. It's about what serves her in the long run. And in that cold, calculating space, you're just another option. If you're not careful, you'll become expendable. Not all women are the same, but they all fall into one of a few clear-cut categories. These archetypes are not just theoretical. They are the patterns women follow in every relationship, every encounter. Once you recognize them, you'll understand how they choose and discard. You'll also know exactly how to avoid falling victim to the most dangerous ones. The survivalist is the first and most common type. Her decisions are driven purely by a need for security, not necessarily financial, but emotional, social, or relational. She seeks a partner who can provide stability, either as an ally or as a source of power. This archetype values dependability over passion, and she will attach herself to anyone who provides her with that. To her, loyalty is not about love, it's about protection. The moment she feels unprotected, she'll move on. Then there's the manipulator. This is the woman who plays the game for its own sake. She is skilled at controlling the narrative, and her decisions are based on how much she can twist situations in her favor. She uses your weaknesses as tools, notches on her belt in the ongoing power struggle. Her decisions are cold and calculated, made to create confusion, doubt, and tension, until she is the one in control. She won't hesitate to lie, cheat, or deceive, all while appearing innocent. The manipulator uses every weapon at her disposal to ensure her dominance, emotional, psychological, or even physical. Next, the alpha, the woman who values independence and dominance. She doesn't choose for protection or manipulation, she chooses to control. This woman sees herself as a queen on her own terms. She selects men who have something to offer in terms of status, resources, or strength, and she expects to be treated as a superior. With this type, submission is weakness. To gain her favor, you must demonstrate that you can contribute to her power without threatening it. If you don't bring something valuable to the table, you'll be dismissed. Lastly, the damsel, a woman who uses her vulnerability to secure others' attention and resources. Her decisions are rooted in weakness, and she plays the victim to gain power. While the damsel may appear harmless, she can be one of the most dangerous archetypes because of her ability to manipulate others through guilt and sympathy. She seeks out those who will offer her the emotional support or resources she cannot secure on her own. But make no mistake, she lures you in with helplessness only to take whatever she can. These archetypes are more than just personality types, they are survival strategies. Each woman will gravitate toward the archetype that best suits her needs in a given moment. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself playing into one of her schemes, unknowingly meeting her needs while sacrificing your own. You must learn to identify the archetype in front of you and respond accordingly. Failure to do so means you're being played. And worse, you'll never even see it coming. Now that you understand the basic dynamics and archetypes, it's time to examine the deeper, darker truth. This is not just about one woman or a single encounter. This is how women have shaped history, influenced empires, and controlled their environments through their decisions. The stakes are far higher than you think. Let's look at history for a moment. Take Cleopatra, one of the most iconic figures of all time. She wasn't a queen because of her beauty or her loyalty. She was a queen because she understood one simple thing: power is everything. Every decision she made was rooted in survival and domination. She played men, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, like pieces on a chessboard. She didn't just seduce them, she manipulated them to secure Egypt's power, wealth, and her personal sovereignty. And she did it all with calculated precision, not an ounce of emotion clouding her judgment. Or consider the story of Mata Hari, the infamous spy during World War I. She wasn't a victim, she wasn't just a seductress. She was a master of influence. Through her decisions, she manipulated powerful men and governments, playing on their egos, desires, and weaknesses. Her actions led to the downfall of many, and yet she was never truly a pawn. She was always the one pulling the strings. These women weren't anomalies. They were masters of the psychological mechanisms that drive decision-making, operating on a level of manipulation that few can comprehend. They didn't just follow the standard patterns, they redefined the game. And what makes them truly dangerous is that their methods are timeless. They are not bound by era or culture. They are ingrained in human nature. Throughout history, women have used their sexuality, their emotions, and their relationships as weapons. Weapons more powerful than any sword or army. The emotional manipulation, the calculated moves, the subtle control, it's all part of an ancient playbook. And you're still following it. Take a look around today. The landscape hasn't changed. Women still hold incredible power, not through brute force, but through influence. They select their partners and allies based on one fundamental factor: how much power they can derive from that relationship. Whether it's a CEO who marries for status, or a socialite who attaches herself to a wealthy man, the mechanism is the same: selection based on what serves their needs. You are facing an enemy you cannot see, and the price of underestimating it is high. The threat lies in the fact that you don't even realize the extent of the game being played. You're playing by their rules, not your own. And this isn't just a theory, it's human nature at its core. Women's instincts to secure their power are not only personal, they are biological. The survival of their bloodline has always been contingent on their ability to make strategic, power-based decisions. This is ingrained, built into the framework of their very survival. So when you make the mistake of assuming that a woman's decisions are based on honesty, love, or loyalty, you open yourself up to manipulation. You fail to see the unseen battle for power happening behind the scenes. The moment you ignore the subtle control at play, you've already lost the game. Now that you understand the reality of the game being played, it's time to act. The threat is clear. Women's decisions are not based on emotional bonds or moral compass. They are tactical, power-based choices rooted in survival and dominance. You cannot continue making the same naive mistakes. To survive this game, you must shift your behavior. You need to stop being the pawn and start being the player. It's time to stop reacting and begin strategically responding. The first step is to never reveal your full hand. The moment you show your vulnerabilities, the moment you act from a position of need, you've already given away power. Women can sense weakness, and they will use it against you. This isn't a negotiation, it's a battle of wills. When you enter any interaction, you must remain a fortress, unmoved by emotional appeal, and always calculated in your responses. You need to stop looking for validation or approval. Stop trying to prove your worth. Women don't value loyalty as you do. They value what you can provide, how you position yourself in the power structure. This means you need to be constantly aware of what you're offering. If you cannot provide power, resources, or influence, then you are expendable. Always remain valuable. The next strategic move is to create scarcity. Power is drawn to scarcity. When a woman knows she can have access to you at any time, your value diminishes. But when you become difficult to reach, when your time, attention, and resources are scarce, you shift the balance of power. Women will suddenly begin to see you as something they cannot afford to lose. Scarcity forces selection. They will chase you, not out of affection, but out of need. You will become a prized possession in the same way rare resources or assets are hoarded. Your behavior needs to reflect the notion that you are a prize, not a participant in the game. No longer are you seeking validation, you are the selecting force. Everything you do must reflect this. When women approach you, it's not for your attention, they seek your approval. And the moment they begin seeking your approval, you have them. They need your stamp of dominance to make the decision that benefits them. But here's where you need to be ruthless. You must play with their perceptions. Women often act out of emotion and impulses, so use this to your advantage. If you can manipulate how they perceive the situation, you can control their decisions. Make them believe that you are the one in charge, even if you have to shift the power dynamic subtly. Play them like they've been playing you. This doesn't mean being overtly aggressive or controlling. It means being detached enough to influence their behavior without them knowing it. Control the environment through your actions, even when you appear passive. Always keep them uncertain of your next move, leaving them to play catch-up while you stay several steps ahead. Every interaction now becomes an opportunity to reinforce your position. Take control of the frame by never reacting out of desperation or emotion. When a woman pushes you, presses for answers, or demands attention, don't comply immediately. Instead, withhold. Make her earn it. Your behavior must shift from appeasing to positioning. And once you have positioned yourself as someone who cannot be easily manipulated or controlled, you'll begin to witness the shift. They will start to adapt to you, rather than the other way around. This is the final step. You've seen the game, understood the rules, and learned how to play. But none of this matters if you don't make the ultimate transformation. To survive this game and rise above the manipulation, you must kill the version of yourself that is vulnerable to their tactics. That weak, emotional, loyal self has no place in this world. The sooner you eliminate it, the stronger you will become. What you've been told about loyalty, love, and emotional connection, it's all lies. That version of you that held on to these ideals is now a liability. You are not here to serve, to be controlled, or to be a tool for someone else's emotional whims. You are here to rule, to select, to dominate. In this chapter, we are going to kill your old identity, the one that sought validation, that tried to please, that believed love and loyalty were virtuous in themselves. We will replace it with a new version of you, a version that only understands one thing: power. Power is the true currency of the world, and the only way to acquire it is by replacing weakness with dominance. This is not a simple shift in perspective. This is an identity death. You must reconstruct yourself from the ground up, and in doing so, you become untouchable. To start, detach yourself from emotional dependencies. Stop relying on others for approval or validation. Instead, value yourself and your actions based on your own standards, not the standards others impose. Your worth is no longer dictated by external sources. It's defined by your capacity to maintain control, to shape your reality according to your desires. Next, embrace sovereignty. Your decisions are no longer about others. They are about you, your survival, and your dominance. Every choice you make should be centered around preserving and expanding your power. And if it doesn't serve that purpose, discard it. You're not here to nurture or care for others. You're here to conquer, to select, to manipulate the environment for your benefit. The new you must be strategic and cold, a force that cannot be swayed by emotions or sentimental attachments. When you stop seeing people as sources of emotional fulfillment and start seeing them as tools, your power grows. People are either assets or liabilities. Treat them as such. You need to become a predator, not a prey. Once you've killed your old self and replaced it with this new, hardened identity, you will no longer be the target. Instead, you will be the one who chooses. You are the one who decides who lives and who falls. This new identity is not just an exterior transformation. It's a shift in how you interact with the world. It is the understanding that no one is truly loyal, no one is truly trustworthy, and that everyone is ultimately a resource or a threat. You must leave the old you behind, just like a snake shedding its skin. The old self served you once, but it's dead weight now. Let it go, and in its place, build someone who commands power and chooses the players in the game. The final transformation is this: you are no longer controlled. You are the one who controls. This is it. The moment you either rise to your potential or remain shackled by the lies you've been fed. You've seen the truth of how women decide, the manipulation, the power games. You've learned how to shift your behavior, play the game, and reforge your identity into one of cold, strategic dominance. But let me make something crystal clear: this transformation won't be easy. The world will fight you. It will try to pull you back into your old ways. Society will remind you that loyalty, love, and sacrifice are the virtues that define good men. Don't listen. These ideals are weaknesses, and they will keep you at the bottom of the food chain. The game you are playing is a battle for control, and the moment you decide to be anything less than ruthless, anything less than strategic, you lose. The players around you, women, society, even friends, will smell your indecision and take advantage of it. You must be unyielding. If you falter, if you show weakness, if you pause to question whether this is right or wrong, you will fall. But if you embrace this path fully, if you replace your old self with the new, untouchable version of yourself, then you will rise above it all. You will command respect, you will control the game, and you will no longer be a pawn. You will be the one who selects, the one who decides. You now have the tools to understand the psychological mechanisms that control the women around you, and the strategies to manipulate these dynamics to your benefit. The power is in your hands, but only if you act decisively. The truth is simple: you are either a predator or prey. The choice is yours, and it's time to make it. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue playing by their rules, stuck in the cycle of manipulation and weakness? Or are you going to embrace this new identity, rise above the chaos, and dominate the game. If you're ready to take control, to stop being invisible, and to start becoming the master of your fate, then it's time for you to take action. But you must act now. The elite don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They create their own. The question is, are you ready to step into your power? The path forward is clear. The next move is yours.